Hey guys, Eric here. So I stumbled on this Reddit thread about a month ago, and there was one topic that I've noticed people in the RWBY fandom get consistently wrong. If you read the title of this video, then you know it's what our resident big bad Salem really wants. Now of course I do have the answer for that, but first let's run through what some of the Redditors came up with because they are some rather interesting theories. Of course I'll be elaborating on some of these because that would just be boring. A video just reading Reddit, come on. Theory number 1, Salem wants to die. This is probably the most straightforward of the lot. Salem's one reason for living was Ozma, but seeing as that reason doesn't really exist anymore because of a rather messy breakup, it stands to reason that she'd want to f***ing die, like some of us, after a rather rough breakup. Now how might she do this, you might ask? Well, by summoning the gods, and then when they arrive, they'll be like, "Yo, Ozzy my boy, did you unite humanity already? That was just a prank, bro, didn't think you'd actually do it, but kudos to you." And then Salem shows up and forces the confrontation where she either persuades or forces the gods to remove her immortality, or just piss them off enough to the point where they decide that torturing her isn't worth it if they're just gonna be annoyed for the rest of eternity. This would also explain why she hates Osmond so much, because he's literally the only obstacle standing in her way when it comes to this objective. Now, for those reasons, this theory is quite plausible, but there are a couple of holes here. Hole number 1, there's no guarantee that the gods will listen to her, or even fight her. They can just leave the planet like they did last time. Also, since it seems that she hasn't learned about the value of life and death, and the balance, and doesn't seem to be changing her mind on that anytime soon, it's rather unlikely that they'll undo the curse to her. Theory number 2, destroy the gods. Another straightforward one, just take the relics, get the maiden powers, and then f*** up the gods for proper good, right? Well, no. Considering that the God of Darkness wiped out humanity with a fraction of his gift to them last time, it's hard to imagine that Salem would be able to eclipse that. I'd be willing to wager that Salem also knows this. She is selfish, not stupid. Now the one thing working against this counter-argument would be the Relic of Destruction having enough power to somehow kill them both. But it takes some real dumb for the plot energy for the God of Light to make a God killer weapon that also calls him and his brother back. She wants to replace humanity with magic users. A classic Adam and Eve scenario, except Adam and Eve are living alongside humanity. The proof of this theory comes from this piece of dialogue in The Last Fable, in which Salem mentions,
"None of that matters anymore. Why spend our lives trying to redeem these humans when we can replace them with what they could never be?"
Keep this line of dialogue in mind. It's rather important for later. Now, this raises some questions, of course. Can magic users interbreed with non-magic users instead of offspring that can perform magic? If yes, then she hasn't exactly been doing a good job of being Remnant's most eligible bachelorette. But judging from how Engineer Ozma's kids can't perform magic here, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no, you cannot make more magic users with one witch/wizard and a muggle. So this would likely require a lot of Sweet Home Alabama. Yes, best not to think about that. Also, I don't see how this benefits Salem in any tangible way. If she's looking to raise up an army to confront the gods like last time, then it's just gonna go exactly like last time. Now, if she's looking to rule over them, that's also a risky proposition since you basically give everyone a weapon to resist you with. So it'd be to purely spite humanity, which she does seem rather keen to do, despite backhandedly praising them a few times. Now, further complicating this theory is the possibility that her kids are very much implied to be dead here. So unless she's making a bid to capture Ozpin for nefarious means, I don't see why or how this is going to happen, especially since Cinder killing him was a-okay with her. Theory number 4, she wants to watch Ozpin suffer. This one is largely supported by the "and I can't wait to watch you burn" Ozpin speech at the end of Volume 3, which is kind of funnily placed now that I think about it, considering the means of Ozpin's death, and his previous death. If Salem's really going with this one, then she has quite literally accomplished it time and time again. But let's just say she's being figurative with this little turn of phrase here. Not only would that make a lot more sense, but it speaks to Salem's selfish nature. If she can't be the ruler of the world, then why not spoil the fun for everyone else? It's like that one person who always holds you hostage with their surrender vote. Basically, Salem would attack and or degrade the institutions that Osmond has been creating to stabilize humanity and push it forward towards unity. Examples of these things would be things like the Huntsman system, the academies, the CCT towers, democracy, and so on and so forth. Really, this theory has a lot of things going for it: connections with Salem's characters, lines of dialogue in the show, and most importantly, her actions. This might actually be her secondary objective to her primary one. So what is her primary objective, you might ask? Theory number 5, she wants to rule the world. It's actually explicitly stated in the companion book of all places. Basically, she wants to grab the relics, absorb the maidens, which by the way are a huge portion of Ozma's magic, to rule the world. Now, I don't blame people for not knowing, since the dialogue back here in this scene was a bit unclear. The key phrase is, why spend our lives trying to redeem these humans when we can replace them with what they could never be? I originally took this to mean that they'd be replacing the gods, not humans, but it's evident to me that other people think otherwise. And unless this is overwritten in the show, this is probably what Salem really wants. Thanks for watching.
You will comment, you will like, you will subscribe if you haven't. Next, you will DM all your credit card information to me after you follow our Instagram and Twitter. Thanks for watching. Now go watch another video. Ooh.